Time my pre-market analysis, not much. If ES gets above 66.40, I will be bullish. Or 66.54. All right, cool. I'm not ready to trade at all. Not even close. I don't really have any trades. I will say, though, that NQ swept beautifully and is very strong. But if we come back down, that's an easy put trade. Or, in theory, an easy put trade. Looks like the Nasdaq is extremely bullish, though pretty soon I'm going to be triggered in for a pre-market high. Not sure why it's shooting up like that, but it is. Personally, rather trade SPX. I've been trading the Qs a bit too much lately. And like I said to everyone else, tomorrow's the last day of free trading or free live trading until May. So if you have made money during it, which pretty much all you guys have, the solution to your problem is stop being free. Like you're doing. Yeah, my puts are kind of set up. It's a miss pivot on NQ. I do like that for Q calls. I do like that a lot for Q calls. But then again, SPX puts aren't bad either because it's pulling back a bit too much. Hmm. I'm bearish to here on SPX, but I'm also bullish to here on the Qs. A little bit more bearish than bullish. I feel the SPX puts light size um, on this bounce here. We'll see. It looks like Qs are going to play out. Yeah. All right. I sold at 2.65 for a tiny loss. I'm feeling very slow today. I'm not locked into this alerting bullshit. I'll be back in if it comes back down. Yeah, it was a 50-50 toss-up. Actually, it was greater than 50-50 chance on ES because ES was much closer. Otherwise, I'll start leaning bullish for NQ pre-market high. Like ES to flip stronger because I'd really like to just trade SPX. And once we get over 66.40 by a decent margin, now my sentiment's going to start flipping to 66.54. That's still pretty far away. Looks like NQ's having a hard time with this supply cluster. It's pretty bullish on SPX. He triggered into calls here soon. NQ really does not like that supply, though. It's the same thing NQ just did. Leaning bullish on ES to come back up, unless we just shoot back down. Then I will be bearish on that. Yeah, it looks like that's happening. And I am back in those puts. Lovely. Looks like it's got it, though. Yep, that's a huge win. That is up an incredible amount. Those puts really didn't drop much. I think we can keep dropping to the next pivots down here easily. Yeah, the puts are up freaking massive. There's PT. That's what I went for initially. We just got put entry at 2.9. They are currently at 4.3. I'm still kind of leaning bearish to 66.13. I have a small position left. It's almost 50% gains there. Pretty much was. Still looks bearish to continue down though. See if that happens. Otherwise, a demand to supply trade, it's actually not that bad. NQ is definitely weaker than ES now. That is a beautiful demand bounce. Looks like a nice supply to demand setup, or demand to supply setup. Not bad for calls if you want to take it. I don't know. Good price action this morning. That just kind of sucks the first trade. Because if I got the first trade right, would have had two in a row, but the first trade was a toss up. Gorgeous. You can't get a better price target than that. Looks like it might continue though. I don't know, the market's going to be indecisive today. That's what I'm expecting. Looks like the puts are finally starting to chop though, which is a bullish indicator. It's a pretty bullish indicator there. And I think he is going to try to make a run to supply. That's a bearish open on NQ. NQ doesn't really want to go up nearly as much as ES does. ES breaks into supply bullishly. I'm bullish for high of day on ES. Because we missed this little level right here, and I think it's going to do the same thing NQ did. So let's see if that happens. The calls are chopping a ton though. It's not good. The calls are not even green on that candle. Not a fan of that. Yeah, no, I can't. Calls are an absolute disaster right now. There's a gorgeous supply and demand play though. That's pretty much all it's done this morning is bounce off these zones. If you don't have the indicator, you're missing out. Looks like NQ flipped stronger than ES. Should be able to drag ES to supply. There's ES supply. Looks like we're going for new high of day. Maybe it's not breaking into it very bullishly. NQ's a lot stronger than ES. NQ looks really good to get to new high of day. Don't really want to bet against ES supply though. I'm not really feeling it. Not feeling very bold today with the fundamentals. Tell you what though, the Q calls have not gone up at all. What the heck? Yeah, the calls today are chopping horrendously. I didn't really see that for the puts, but the calls today are doing a very bad job. See the Q calls or SPX puts, but I'm still leaning bullish for NQ new high of day. That looks like pretty much a given. The calls look terrible. See how it tests this supply cluster again. Looks really good for new high of day on the Nasdaq. And maybe a run beyond that. I don't know though. I'm kind of expecting a bigger pullback beforehand, or at least on ES, but we'll see. Looks really good. And I pretty much got it now. Any pullback I'm bullish on. It did not pull back enough. Oh, there's new high of day. Next is the pre-market high. Looks good for it. ES definitely needs high of day as well. New SPX calls are a good dip buy. We invalidate this red candle, I'm in SPX calls. Geez, it is a lot weaker than NQ though. Calls are a lot more choppy too. Bugs me how weak ES is, but I did fill the SPX calls. It's like an okay initial fill. I'd like to be able to add to this trade. I don't know if I'll get a good opportunity though. As ES weakness bugs me a lot to add. I was expecting ES to flip strong because, you know, NQ's on a major pivot in a million supply zones, but looks like ES is the one that's trying not to be up here. Jeez, it's still so much weaker than NQ. That is not very fun. I did add some more as we invalidate the pullback. Um, yeah, we'll see how it goes, I guess. Looks good to it. The calls are just choppy as hell, and unfortunately, I'm on much cheaper calls because I didn't feel like switching the strike. I already had these ones pulled up. There's PT. My calls barely missed my limit order, unfortunately. Yeah, super choppy, shitty premiums for options. If you're trading futures, you're doing pretty good this morning, though. I mean, if ES can break over this high with some momentum, I mean, I'm bullish for this supply cluster on NQ to break, and then I still have my, don't know why that's just floating, but I still have my initial pre-market bias, which is bullish for these two levels to break. But it looks like it's just trying to bearishly sweep it. It's a bearish liquidity sweep on NQ. Yeah, if you're trading futures, that perfectly wicked your price target. Let's see. Let's see if I'll start being biased for 66.54 on ES. Let's see where this pivot is on NQ at the top of this supply. Yeah, it's a pretty big pivot as well. Very big pivot. Supply and demand indicator is very easy to see potential pivots. Just check the top of a zone cluster. It'll probably be a major pivot. I think you might start flipping weak. I'm not sure. It's definitely weak now. I mean, honestly, if this red candle can invalidate, I'm gonna start leaning bullish to ES 66.54. I think there's a lot of shorts to squeeze out with these two huge rejections right here and this coming all the way back down just to shoot back up. Definitely starting to lean bullish for a squeeze. I don't really know if I'm going to be able to make any money on it though, because these contracts are just chopping to hell. Let's see. Thank you invalidates this little pullback and gets up pretty much to the pivot. It'll look pretty good for a break to the upside. Because that'll be a bull pennant. So we'll see if that plays out. Looks like the bears are winning though. That is a bearish, that's a confirmed bearish liquidity sweep. That is extremely bullish on ES. That looks like a short squeeze. Yep. Let's see if it actually causes that squeeze. ES is a lot stronger than NQ. And that's another bearish liquidity sweep there. NQ still bull flagging though. I mean, this could turn into a massive run, but it's tough to say. NQ's putting in this bull flag. I needed to finish forming this bull flag, then indicate that it's actually going to break the bull flag to the upside. And then I'll have a pretty good indicator. Like stuff like this, these buying wicks, that's really bullish for a continued short squeeze. But the problem is we have another supply cluster overhead, and it's been fighting like hell just to get through these first supplies here. I'm not necessarily confident it's going to be able to do it. Not confident at all. But this bull flag is looking pretty decent on NQ. I think these ES calls have not, these SPX calls have not gone up a morsel, by the way. So I'm not making any money on this move. Not a dime. Now my order filled, but it's because of news. Okay, my order filled right before news. That's pretty cool. Maybe news didn't ruin it. Maybe it'll help it. We have ISM services. ISM usually isn't that big of a deal. No, that looks pretty good. Oh my gosh. Well, now I'm making money, I guess. Oh my gosh. That is huge. Those calls just skyrocketed to 4.8. Oh, there you go. Futures traders. You printed. $59% gains is what you should have been able to get if you held those calls with me. It looks like it wants to go back up. Those calls are already back down to where they were right here. Those calls just hit new low of day, actually. They genuinely just hit new low of day on this little pullback. The calls are chopping to hell today. Um, I still have a hard time kind of not being bullish. I did take out all my PTs. Yeah, I don't know. See what the news says. NQ wants to go down. Yeah, some services were bullish. NQ is rejecting though. I don't know if I'm gonna have another trade to be honest. That could be it. Maybe the market's flipping bearish. Like maybe it's gonna go all the way back down. That candle closed really bearish there, and that was a hell of a liquidity sweep with a volume spike. It was also on news though, so I don't know. The calls have been chopping so much. I am kind of bearish for demand. It's already past the 61.8. Looks like it's gonna be a straight shot to that point. Unless something crazy happens. Yeah, they look really good to demand. Really good to demand. I missed my put fill, fortunately. There's a yes to demand. And he's got a pretty good shot to NQ demand now. NQ is a hell of a lot weaker than ES. ES looks good for a bounce, but I'm thinking it's going to be a dead cat bounce. I still like NQ to demand. Pretty nice looking demand bounce there. Just put the alert out. I am scaling into SPX puts on this bounce. Don't quite know how high it's going to go though, so I'm kind of scaling in. And I'd expect ES to flip back to being weaker. But I'm not really willing to take a loss on Qs. I've been trading Qs too much, so I'm trying to prioritize SPX. Prices jump, employment dumps, and US ISM services disappoint in March. That makes sense with the drop. Looks like head and shoulders forming on ES, but ES is incredibly strong right now. It's incredible how much this 30-minute demand is bounce price action. Oh shit, it missed my final ad. Oof. Yeah, I just missed my final ad by a mile. Tried adding at 2.1 and it freaking, how much did it miss it by? Ah, oh, dude, I missed it by 5 cents. Oh my gosh, that would have been so good. Can't catch a break today with the orders missing. I don't know if I'm gonna get another opportunity to add. I don't with calls been chopping. I don't want to add on any of these red candles. I mean the puts have been chopping. Just premiums in general have been chopping a bunch today. But the puts did get back to green, so if you want to trim and de-risk, totally can. That is extremely bullish. That green candle should not have just happened. It's a very bullish candle. We could squeeze all the way back to high of day. Still a head and shoulders on my chart, but that is a very bullish candle. Looks like it's going to end up being a stop loss. You can scale in the last bit, betting on the head and shoulders, but I don't know. It's not looking very good. Looks like I'm going to stop loss. I'm not going to add up here. It could be perfect, and it could perfectly put in that head and shoulders and round off and come back down, but the only way I'd add is if it comes back down. It doesn't look like it wants to do that. Looks like supply and demand are king today. The thing is, I'm not even bullish though. Like we already swept everything to the upside. The fundamentals were bearish, so there's no way I can play any upside movement. That is pretty bullish though. Looks like ES is chasing supply. Looks pretty good. Yeah, this looks great to supply. Man, supply and demand. I just need to blindly follow it some days. Would have printed. I don't mind SPX calls on this pullback to supply. Technically risky because NQ is still a potential head and shoulders. But I think it's pretty much got it. All right, I am playing pretty much the same trade I was just in, except back to supply. So this will be my final. This will be my final trade. Do not expect the head and shoulders to play out now on NQ. If it did, that'd just be magical. Because as it stands right now, I'm pretty mild red on the day. Let's see if I get any good scaling in opportunities. Is NQ trying to put in the head and shoulders? That is way too bearish. The last two candles have been way too bearish. Oh, that does look pretty good. This call jumped a lot. Not a fan of that selling wick though. NQ just hit supply. Did hit a big trim there. He is trying to go for it. Don't like NQ supply rejection though. Not a fan of that. There's another fill. Very light in this trade now. It doesn't matter. It just hit. So I sold a tad early. Just a tad. Oh, that flipped my day green. My average was 3.35. And those calls are at 5.3. So both wins today, 58%. What was that? 2 losses and 2 wins, I think? Maybe? No. 3 wins. I forgot about this put trade. 3 wins, 2 losses. I feel like there's another loss in there. I don't know. But I am green overall, so that's what matters to me. But yeah. Damon Clip says, "Are you doing better?" Yeah, I'm doing a little bit. I'm just freaking tired. I've been working a lot. We'll be working a lot today too, guys. By the way, I haven't paid anyone over last weekend. By the way, so everyone that I owe money to, I'll get to that today. So I haven't forgot you. I just haven't done it. Ended up booking a last minute cabin on Friday and going up north to hang out for Easter weekend, which was delightful. But those huge trade arena updates, I'm going to try to have those completed by today. It is a mind-numbing amount of work, though. So, why do you owe people money? Because in my Discord, I give away between $3,000 and $4,000 each month from the promos that we do, trade arena wins, so on and so forth. The problem is that $3,000 to $4,000 that I give away every single month to you guys is given away in $25 increments. So there's just a million payments all the time. So, yeah. Not a terrible day. I wouldn't say it's a great day either. I mean, that trade that I just took is the exact same, almost the exact same as the put trade I took. The only difference is he has got demand after. And NQ is the one that missed. This one was slightly better just because both were not at supply yet. But I mean, yeah, I mean, if I draw out my trades, that ended up being a pretty good stop loss. Can't complain about that. But if I draw out my trades, my average was like here. Stopped out a bit late, stopped out like here as far as the that goes. And then I mean, I was kind of in this from the beginning. It's like in this here essentially. And that ended up doing very well. If you did futures, you did very well today with that sweep. And then this here. And then what was my other loss? I had two. I think it was puts right at the beginning, right? Yeah, I just tried again right here. Two losses. Started off 0 and 2, then won 3 back to back. Wait, no, this was a win. Oh, wait, no, I swear I had 2 losses. I mean, I had 2 losses in real life. I don't know if there was a discrepancy between the alerts or not. That's what I'm looking for. Okay, so I have my first loss right here. That was right out of the gate. Puts. No, this was my second loss. Yeah, why am I tripping? It just happened. Yeah. All right, so 3-2 today. Not terrible. Pretty aggressive trades, but whatever. And I was a bit heavier on that last trade. I think it was in with 16 contracts. Not bad. As for futures, there's nothing I'm triggered into. And I'm still waiting for me to be ready to, go full force on my future strategy again, but probably going to be a bit. I'm just so freaking busy lately. What's up with you only trading ES nowadays? I try, David, I've always tried to prioritize SPX. It's not me trading ES, obviously. You guys know I'm trading options. But ideally, in a perfect world, I would never trade QQQ ever again. I only trade the Qs when I feel like I have to. And that's an options thing. It has nothing to do with futures. With my futures trading, it's like dead even. Like it's whichever stronger. Layoff. There were no shrooms, Jaybree, but that would have been a... Damn, that was actually a missed opportunity. I completely forgot that those exist. It's probably a missed opportunity, Jaybree. Looks like we could be potentially bullishly consolidating. The problem is I can't get in on futures. I mean, I'm going against supply and a bearish liquidity sweep, okay? As far as futures is concerned, because it's almost that time, 2 minutes, right? If we come up, what will I have? Well, in favor of the longs, I will have bull flag, liquidity momentum, and liquidity sweep down here. Going against supply and liquidity sweep, the only way I'm triggered in is if this one is clearly stronger than the other. And last week, I think it was on Friday, I took that futures loss. Upon review, I don't think it was strong. I was a little too trigger happy there. It was not strong enough to give it the strong keyword, and I took a big loss as a result of that. So I'd only be triggered in if it's like kind of set in stone, like this is much stronger than the other. But right now they're pretty even. It looks like NQ's trying to flip a bit stronger, but not much at all. How come you don't trade the Qs anymore? I've never tried to trade the Qs. I only trade them when I have to. It's always been that way, and that's for tax reasons. If you trade QQQ, if I wash sale rule, guys, everyone should know what wash sale rule is. So Pisco in the YouTube chat, do you know what wash sale is? Are you even in the USA? Gaming Clip says 16 contracts. Are you good, bro? It's not that deep. But anyways, with the Qs, there's wash sale rule. So it's like I've always just kind of eat the extra losses because I'm profitable enough to not care. But with the SPX chop that's been happening the last 4 weeks in a row, ever since this Iran thing started, the contracts have been chopping really bad, like really bad. It would be like one trade per week that I'd experience that on. Now it's damn near every single one of them, and that kind of pushed me to have to trade Qs a bit more. But every time I trade Qs, I'm taking a big risk because I can't claim that loss, which hurts taxes a lot. Okay, the reason no one teaches the wash sale rule, Pisco, is because no one's actually profitable trading. But you should know what wash sale rule is. That is bullish consolidation. I'm bullish for that to break to the upside. However, I can't get in because strengths are about even. But anyways, you can't claim more than one loss every 31 days trading the same asset, and that goes for QQQ. SPX is exempt from that. So if you were to sit here and day trade QQQ every day or Tesla every day, it's nearly guaranteed that you'd owe more in taxes than money you're green. Or you can be red overall and you'll still owe money in taxes. But most people are so red overall that they never even notice wash sale because they're too busy losing all their money. They dropped it to 1. I think it used to be 3, 4 years ago. What do you mean, DH? It's perfect double top on ES. Not anymore. Never mind. That is gone. The loss per trade that you can claim. Was it ever 3? What do you mean dropped it to 1? Like you cannot claim more than 1, right? Or was it you cannot claim more than 3? Because I know it's 1 right now. But honestly, I think it's coming time to where I just register market to market elect so I don't got to deal with that bullshit. I think I'll be doing that for my 2026 taxes. It's a huge pain though. I don't really want to do it. How long have you been trading? 6 years. Almost exactly. That was some bull flag. ES is a little stronger than NQ. As far as futures concerned, it's possible. It is possible there. It's pretty clear that ES is stronger than the Nasdaq. The Nasdaq comes up, I can argue that I'm triggered in. They're pretty close to even right now. Here's the formation I'm watching. Do you do your own taxes? You need a CPA. In my case, you need a CPA. I just have so much shit I write off. I average about like 10% income tax ish, maybe a little less. That's the nice thing about me owning this beautiful Aurora Trading LLC is I can just write off a lot of things. So yeah, I'd highly recommend if you're making money trading, start an LLC and trade under it because you'll be able to write off a lot. A portion of your rent if you're renting, or a portion of your mortgage if you have a dedicated office space. Every single piece of furniture and utensil you buy for your office, internet bill, portion of electricity, there's a lot. Social media and day trading are the two things that you can write off the most from. I think real estate's really up there as well. But, but yeah, I write off quite a bit. Is ES stronger than NQ though? I don't see it. I think they're pretty even. I don't think I'm going to be able to enter. Right now it's 3-2. This is bullish consolidation on NQ, but it needs to break out soon because it's been going too long. It's coming out of proportion. This first leg was 15 minutes exactly. And this has been almost 15 minutes exactly. Are you friends with Top Hat? Yeah, I know him. His server's gonna join Trade Arena, I believe. Bug him about that. He's forgetting to respond to me. But yeah, I think he's adding Trade Arena to his server, which will be a incredible thing for you guys. How do you know that it's bullish consolidation? Okay, well, it's consolidating after a bullish leg, right? It's a concept that price action moves in two legs. First leg, consolidation, second leg. Now, bullish consolidation does not mean for sure it's going to break to the upside. I have no idea. But statistically, well, obviously we know this is consolidation, right? That is now bearish consolidation. This is now bullish consolidation, statistically, right? So just determine what was the direction of the first leg. This is up, so this is by default bullish consolidation. Is it a very strong case for bullish consolidation? Well, you know, it's up against a pivot on ES and supply. Not really. That's why I labeled my reasons here 3-2. I'm leaning slightly bullish. I have 3 reasons to be bullish, 2 to be bearish, but not much. All right, and I'm not getting strength either. So, yeah. I just joined you live from there. Yeah. Tomorrow will be my last day doing the free live stream. Only I just added a bonus couple of days because of Easter, and you know, you guys got cut short because Monday we goofed up, or I goofed up, and the live stream wasn't working. So I just decided to add those 2 days back. You know, I'm interested. I'm interested though. I wonder if they're getting rid of the PDT or they already have, because I've noticed some weird things in my cash accounts lately. Because usually, um, that is bearish. That's a bearish candle. That looks like news. I'm just waiting for one of these candles to just be bearish news and we go down the rest of the day. That's what I'm waiting for, or the opposite. It may be here. Look at the volume. That is more than the open volume on ES. That is insanity. Oh my gosh. That's a pretty big deal. I wonder what that was. What do you guys think? Place your bets in chat. Imagine we just magically go all the way back up right after. Doesn't look like it's gonna happen. ES is stronger than NQ, but we are getting a pretty bearish buying wick here. Someone says Israel bombed, reject ceasefire. I feel like every day we're doing that. What's new? Do something original. Looks like it might be flipping back bullish. If we invalidate this entire drop, I'll be pretty bullish for ES to start pushing towards new high of day. That looks like that could be the case. Bullish consolidation's off though, so that's not a possibility. Yeah. Wonder why it's invalidating that though, because that looks pretty bullish right now. No? Are we just gonna... That was a bearish candle close. What do you guys think? Type in chat. We're just gonna go up or down for the rest of the day, or rest of the morning. That is a really nice trend line to break to the upside though. I will say that. That is a very nice trend line to break to the upside on NQ. I think it may even be perfect. But that's a pretty nice trend line for ES to break to the downside. I'd say it's even slightly nicer. Let's see. Looks like ES really wants to go back up to supply. NQ does not. I mean, buying keeps happening at the start of each candle. I think the market doesn't know where it wants to go. It would be beautiful if I'd like us to go down because NQ did miss the demand. It would be really nice to see NQ end up getting that demand after that supply retest. Don't know if ES wants to allow it though. I mean, I'm leaning bearish for NQ to break to the downside. ES just does not look like it really wants to allow it, but that's, I mean, NQ's missed demand twice, it's retested supply twice. Statistically speaking, it looks pretty good to get to demand at some point. I'm leaning pretty bearish for it. Yeah, that looks pretty good. That looks like a good trade. I can't get triggered in on futures, but that looks like a pretty good trade there to the NQ demand. See how NQ tests this trend line again. ES is coming up to the trend line. But NQ is pretty much right there. So somewhat bullish buying wick. think he was trying to break the downside here. See how big this is going to be, if it's going to be enough to get it to demand. And ES is coming up on this trend line. This is a big support trend line here on ES. I'd assume that that ES support trend line gives us one more kind of bounce, dead cat bounce, before NQ comes back, turns back around towards demand. That is a lower low with buying wick on NQ, which under normal context would be rather bullish. The volume's definitely rather bearish, though. But Drew just is all in for puts, no stop loss. I'll close my eyes and hope for the best. I'll hope with you, buddy. You can do it. You can be rich. How's everyone doing this morning? Pretty decent, not terrible. Waiting for you is to see if ES is going to get a full break under this trend line. And looking for NQ demand. Definitely sense that a lot of you guys are in either puts or shorts for that NQ demand, so I'm hoping it hits. I think NQ looks pretty good for new low day. Trump addressing public today at 1 p.m. Yep. Still got a bit to go, though. I'm bearish on this bounce. Now, it would be a bullish bounce because we did sweep a lower low, but it's barely missing. Barely missing NQ demand. But that is a lower low, and that last red candle did get a tiny bit of a volume spike there. Can you explain how you can be a strong man of faith, but also a supporter of Trump? Why do you have a... Oh, I thought you had the analyst role, Fifi. What's that have to do with my trading right now? And first off, bold of you to assume my politics, but... It's definitely signaling a dead cat bounce right now. I know, right, Jovan? That's exactly how I feel. Like, dude, grow up. It's so annoying. Like, you'll just be doing something casually, like talking to someone, like casual conversation, and then someone will just start crying about politics. It's like, grow up. What are we doing? The only thing I'm focused on right now is whether or not NQ is going to get to demand. That's definitely a bullish sweep. It's a very bullish sweep, and I do like this trend line here. It actually has a decent shot of breaking to the upside. That turned into a falling wedge. There's a chance everyone in for demand right now may get hornswoggled. What would be magical, though, if it turned around, came back for demand, and then entering a long trade at demand for the trend line break to the upside here. I just drew on ES. But it looks like it's going to break to the upside before that. NQ demand, we looking for a bounce? I'd definitely be looking for a bounce with the way it's acting now, but it looks like there's just so much buying support here. I don't know if it can get to demand. Everyone just bought this liquidity sweep here on NQ. See if this falling wedge breaks the upside. Where did you go to learn about candlestick patterns? You don't really go to our channel here. It's called Patterns. I'll link it. Just go through that channel. It's all the basic patterns you need to know. It's pretty quick. I don't remember where. You just kind of learn them. I think I learned them just by experience, like talking to people that also memorize their patterns. Patterns are like the first thing you should memorize. Not that you necessarily need to trade them, but patterns are just one of those base things that you should know as a trader, right? Like you should, at the minimum, especially the continuation patterns, those work. They do have statistical backing, a lot of it, and they do demand respect if you're trading, especially if you're trading in the discretionary mode. But yeah, I read through that channel. Control says no way Bryce is gonna dump. I asked Elon to wait until 10:56 a.m. and then open up with $200 billion in shorts to hornswoggle Bryce. Okay, all right. Here's a falling wedge break to the upside. Let's see if this break is gonna have any juice behind it. Or it can be seen as a trendline retest on NQ. Depends which way you're seeing it. I see a falling wedge. Man, it would be magical if it gets to demand, though. If it gets to demand, that would open up a really nice potential long trade out of demand. As far as I mean, I could just trade discretionary options, but as far as my mechanical future strategy, I don't know if any of these scenarios I'll be able to take. I mean, we have this pivot here at new low of day on NQ. We have this pivot here on ES. I'd assume they hit roughly at the same time if NQ is going to hit that. I don't know, though. It's got so much buying support down here. It looks like it doesn't even want demand. Looks like it's trying to continue the falling wedge break. I'm gonna have to extend this trend line out. This is pretty much a perfect trend line. It does technically have 3 touches. Not one of those trend lines where I'd expect a break and run, but a trend line where I'd at least expect it to sweep or break. Looks like it's trying to go for that. And then we'd have double fake prophecy pretty much in play. So now my bias is starting to be, fake one way, fake the other way, then go the original way. That hasn't happened too often. I think it happened a couple times last week. I didn't really point it out because I wasn't trading. But the double fake is still one of those things that happens from time to time. Is McLaren your favorite car? No. It depends what price range you're talking about. That could be true. That could be factual, Dev. It's a really nice falling wedge break to the upside. That's why you draw your patterns. Is the BMW M4 your favorite car? Yeah, definitely not. Definitely not. But favorite cars for different reasons, right? And it just depends. Everything's priced. So, like, everything's just price. You have to give me a price range, and I can tell you what would be my favorite car to own for that. He looks like he's trying to fight to this break for the to the upside on this trend line. 60 to 100, C7Z06. It's not even a question. And that's on the lower end of the spectrum, too. Get a C7Z06 for 60s, 60s, 70s. No price favorite daily? I have no idea. The Koenigsegg Gemera would be my no price favorite daily. That's actually dailyable as far as storage is concerned in 4 seats. This whole thing is a big falling wedge. This entire thing is. So we could actually have a pretty big run on our hands, which is sad because that would be beautiful to play after NQ swept demand, but now I have conflicting biases. I forgot about that car. Yeah. That car's cool. It's got the cooled and heated cup holders. When I sat in there, it was freaking beautiful. Big fan of that. NQ's gearing for a falling wedge break to the upside. But missing demand, though. I feel like I probably have another demand zone that I'm not even seeing on my chart. That pretty much invalidates everything I've been saying. You see. Yeah, a new 2 hour just formed. You can actually see it. Sometimes my chart just loads terribly slow. But if I switch it to zones price, it'll update. Yeah, there it is. Does not look bad for the break to the upside. I'm kind of doubtful that we'll run that hard, though. I think it might. Nah, you know what? I think ES has a shot to get back to supply. Do you have any tips for someone trading while in high school? Yeah, don't even try to make money. Don't even try to make money. Come into this industry and try to make money. You're spending money to learn. So don't be buying a bunch of funded accounts. Well, you should be trading funded futures. Limit yourself to 2 funded accounts a month. Trading tiny micros. You're never going to pass them. Don't even try. Just manage non-financial advice, of course, but I would manage my finances because obviously you don't have a lot in high school to get as much reps and practice for every dollar that I spend. Here's the falling wedge break to the upside and see how far it goes. Looks like it can go a distance. Maybe. Yeah, Dev's answer is okay too. Depends. Depends what mood you're in, really. CR Grow says you're leaning bullish because of the patterns, but we're trending down. Right. It's conflicted bias. Which I think is myself to current prices and no change. Yeah, so I'm bullish because of the falling wedge and now this demand, but I'm leaning bearish because of the trend and the fact that we also missed low of day here. So it's conflicted, right? We either gonna go up then down or down then up, in my opinion. So getting one direction first, and ideally it would be down then up because there's nice pivots down here. If we were to go down then up, the second trade is a very good looking trade. Like entering here for this high, that's a very good looking trade in my opinion. Very good looking trade. Yeah, pretty much a two-parter is what I'm feeling. This falling wedge is freaking beautiful on ES on NQ though. But I don't know if it can do it, man. It's the market's just very conflicted. I don't know if we can get a trend together. But that's what I'm hanging out waiting around for. Because even if we sweep low a day, this can still potentially be a falling wedge. Then there's a futures trade I can actually take. Until then, I don't really have a trade I can take. At least for futures. That fits my mechanical strategy. But I have a hard time believing NQ is going to get down there without breaking to the upside. This trend line has been tested far too much to not break to the upside. It looks really good to do it. It's good to do it now. See if it does. Control says Elon's calling him back. Oh boy. Let's see what he says. Another trend line rejection. Wow. Yeah, I'm definitely expecting the falling wedge break to the upside before we get down, and then I don't know if we're gonna get down after that. But man, it would be magical if we fell somehow, keeping that top trend line intact, going long on the reversal for that trend line break. You cannot get a much higher probability trade than that. That would be beautiful. And that's what I'm hoping for. I think that's really the only chance I have at getting in. But not feeling that lucky. And Q looks good to break to the upside now. Yep. Let's see it. Wonder if it's going to last long though, because it really shouldn't have. I mean, the trend line's very valid, which increases the odds, but also I feel like it shouldn't have rejected it as much as it has. So let's see. It's a really bullish candle there. What do you guys think? Take your vote. Type your votes in chat. Do you guys think we're going to break this trend line and run to supply? Or do you think this is going to be a fake break and we head to new low of day? A-Bag votes run to supply. Ant-Man votes fake. Trolls votes fake. Knox votes run. Or split down the middle. I can't make a bet off that. Need more decisive sentiment. Due to the selling wicks on the 5-minute, I'm leaning rather bullish for at least a higher high on the 5-minute. So back up to 66.45-ish, but on the other time frames, it's a toss-up. This trend line's shot now. I guess you can just change it to this. Neither consolidates for 2 weeks. That seems more realistic. Razzie says low of day. I think there's slightly more sentiment for down, but it's pretty 50-50. I'm kind of committed to this. I want to watch it. And you see how this ends up. Looks like ES is trying to maybe start flipping stronger. It looks like it's been trying to gear for a run, but I don't know. It's every single drop is getting a buying wick and getting bought back up pretty quickly. But the green candles aren't pushing much more beyond just 2 green candles, literally. I mean, it's been 15 minutes now or 20 minutes now, and most we've got is 2 green candles in a row. How you guys doing, trading? Doing okay, Bree. How are you? Nice. See, is this going to be a break to the downside on ES, or is this just going to be a sweep and then we pop right back up and continue the barcode? Do you know any people who succeed? I don't know anyone off the top of my head, David. I'm sure they're out there, but most people in this community pretty much just trade market open. And there's a couple that also trade Asia, but I don't think I know of anyone that credits all their success to trading Asia only. So yeah, I don't know. Can't answer that. But no, I definitely, I mean, you can definitely build a strategy for trading Asia session that does well long term, but price you board stuff very well, kind of like Powell. Yeah, because I'm the next, I'm runner up. I will run for Federal Reserve when I'm 50. Let's see. Do we think NQ is actually going to break the downside from this, or ES just going to bounce off the trend line again? It kind of looks like ES wants to bounce off the trend line again, or just bounce off these wick lows again. But it has flipped weaker. ES is indeed going for the bounce again. This looks pretty good finally for an up break to the upside. That is a, yeah. But if this green candle invalidates, then it'll be pretty bearish. We're getting, should be ready to break or bust here soon. But that was a pretty bullish bounce. That's trying to invalidate. All right, if this next candle's green invalidates that wick, that's going to be pretty good for at least ES to test this top trend line. It did not do it. Okay. Is this the stop loss raid then? Or are we just going to sweep a lower low on NQ right here and come right back up? Here's where NQ would sweep. ES is sweeping a lower low and coming right back up. That's a very bullish buying wick. We're either going to get a nice squeeze or a big stop loss raid. Control says my house is in this short. Oh boy. I think just because of that, it's going to go up, but maybe controls will luck out. It's a very bullish buying wick there on ES. Very, very, very bullish buying wick. The only reason NQ isn't as bullish is A, it's flipping a little bit weaker, but it also didn't make a lower low. All right, that's back to looking like a short squeeze. How do you see the short squeeze? You see the lower lows of buying wicks, and you see the short legs continuously getting invalidated. So as it stands right now, I'm bullish for ES to at least get to roughly here-ish, but I don't know. This red candle just threw it off big time. Yeah, this is the 1 minute time frame. Yeah, ES has this pretty nice trend line here. He keeps trying to make this lower low. I'm waiting for it to happen and see if it collapses or sweeps it when it happens. See if this little break to the upside happens here. And if NQ continues into supply or just rejects it. Looks pretty good at the moment. Yeah, Trump does. Yeah. It could be what we're waiting for, is just Trump to talk. But that is a gorgeous trend line on ES. I'm leaning pretty bearish for that trend line to break to the downside at some point. Maybe after ES sweeps a higher high. It'll look good to do that. This is fun. Be potentially getting a break here. See you later, Drip Pigeon. Do you have some cardboard I can borrow? Maybe a Sharpie? I got you on the Sharpie. I don't have any cardboard. That's possible, Ciargo. I wouldn't expect that, though. I'd expect us to break here within the next 10 minutes. Now, is that break going to continue? I don't know. But it's clear the market's waiting for Trump. Now, statistically speaking, just off the pattern, we're more likely to break to the downside because the bottom trend line has way more tests. However, we do have demand on NQ. We do have lower lows here, so that does help. So I'd say it's pretty much dead 50-50. It could not be more 50-50 than what it is now. He is testing the trend line again. Still perfect. It should become not so perfect here in a second. I don't know if it's actually going to break. And I think it might be a little bit more likely to just kind of sweep. This baby pivot right here on NQ is a big level. I think there's a high chance we sweep it, then pop right back up and continue the chop. I think he's trying to barely miss it. So, I mean, that's bullish chop on ES. We've been chopping down. Looks good to break to the upside here. I do not expect it to last, though. Here's the new trend line. I think it's more likely to sweep one of these highs and come back down. This level is a great price target on NQ. This little yellow level right here. So if we do come up, it'll be a really nice short entry. If we can come up, put in some kind of reversal candle, taking it to this yellow line would be really nice. I'm pretty bearish for that level to break. Hang on my phone till something cool happens. Expecting that upside break here, but it's either up then down or down then up. Still waiting for it to happen. And I'll put my phone down. There's the potential sweep. Let's see if we shoot right back up. It's a lot of liquidity to sweep there, and ES is already putting in a pretty bullish buying wick. ES looks like it's flipping a lot stronger than NQ. This could just be a trendline retest here. I do really like this trend line to break to the upside on NQ as well. It's not immediately sweeping it. This pattern's pretty much over. Here's VWAP. This should be pretty big support. I mean, this whole area is just a big bounce area. That's perfect double bottom on ES. Pretty bearish for that to break. Not a bad short trade on this bounce for that perfect double bottom break on ES. Not bad at all. How do you get your trading view to even look like this? What do you mean? I mean, my supply and my professional zones indicator is the green and red. Um, the background is a black to gray gradient. I is holding that perfect double bottom on ES. We still have those nice trend lines to break to the upside, so it's possible that those break before we come back down, but I'm pretty bearish for it to come back down. Not expecting that double bottom to last. Oh, yes, there. Was in calls. Oh, nice. No, I didn't see A and B. I trade the same thing every day. Don't get distracted by other stuff. See, Ergo, it depends. Yeah, I mean, I'd like NQ to get to new low of day and then ES to demand. But right now, I'm looking for or watching this for this 6630 break on ES. This is a perfect double bottom. Those typically do not last, so I'm pretty bearish for that to break. But as far as an actual mechanical futures trade, I'm waiting to be triggered into something, and so far nothing. It's even fighting it down here, though. I don't know. Price action looks like there's just no volume right now. I'm waiting for it to just turn up, then just, start doing something crazy like dumping or whatever. But I don't think it wants to do that. I mean, it signals there's buying there, CR go, but if it's a perfect double bottom to the penny, bearish for that to break. Problem is the risk reward was never really good, so I wouldn't be able to enter it. If it came all the way up here, swept, and then started coming back down, that'd be a flawless trade, but I didn't get that. Does Trump speak? 1 Eastern, I believe. Hour and a half, I think. Yeah, but I'm invested on seeing where this goes, and I usually try to take at least one futures trade a day, and I'm kind of waiting for that as well. I'm able to trade futures during the second and third hour. Um, so I'm just kind of hanging out right now. I don't know if I'm going to get anything though. It's really low volume. However, ES could be turning into another potential falling wedge, which is still could signal a huge run ahead of us to the upside. It depends if we make a lower low and bounce. That would be the rising wedge right there. Yeah, should break it here. And NQ should also get this pivot. This can be huge support. So watch for a bullish sweep. This could be something. Here's a bullish sweep. I'm still bearish if we bounce. I'm looking for NQ new low of day now. AES is almost at demand as well, so might as well. Might as well get something like that. It's a bullish reversal candle, though, with huge volume on NQ. That is the epitome of a reversal candle. Let's see if it actually reverses. I'm doubtful because it's really bullish reversal candle, and we have demand, liquidity sweep, and falling wedge. But NQ still missed low of day. Technically, though, this could be a futures trade that I could be triggered into. This long here. Not really feeling any of these trades, though, to be honest. Not really feeling them. That is a really nice looking falling wedge zone, yes. Very nice looking. See how this NQ candles close. Are futures expensive? No, you use funded futures, so it's way cheaper than options. Way more cost effective and efficient. See if this reversal candle actually plays out. It looks pretty good to break the trend line to the upside. That is a crazy trend line rejection. Looks like NQ wants low a day, then maybe a bounce. I'm still either up and down then up. Even though we've gone down a bunch, this falling wedge is super tight. I'd expect this top trend line to break to the upside, maybe after ES hits demand, though, because that's a surprising rejection candle there. It's a very surprising candle. Looks like he's going for the demand. And NQ's also looking at new low of day here. Dude, this is the tightest wedge I've seen in a very long time. Might break out. NQ didn't make the lower low though, so even though it's a gorgeous falling wedge in demand and we got a liquidity sweep, I'm still kind of bearish for it to come back down after the break, so that's what I'm waiting to see if that happens. And we did get another volume spike on ES on that reversal candle, but NQ did not make a lower low there. Pretty decent for an upside break. Thinking maybe it does something like this, to be honest. Something like this. I think that's rather fitting. I guess I can edit this trend line just a tad. That is not a break to the upside. Trying to reject the trend line for the 4 millionth time. See if NQ gets new low of day. Here's the break. Let's see how long it lasts for. Doesn't really look like it wants to last very long. I'm gonna hang on my phone for a bit. I think I'll get a trade someday. We'll see. Looks pretty decent to go on a small run. I'm not thinking it's going to last, though. I think it's probably going to come back down right after. All right, there's finally the nicer break. NQ might have enough to get to supply. I don't know. Not really feeling that much. That is a nice falling wedge. Falling wedge play if you took it. NQ's looking pretty good to get to supply now. Yeah, not seeing much. I mean, if we go on a huge run, then bullishly consolidate, it'll do something. But I'm going to hang out for only like 5 more minutes. I'm not really seeing much. The falling wedge play was kind of the only one. Um, and that one did pretty okay. It looks good for NQ to get to supply. I have no idea what's going to happen once NQ gets to supply. These are the next semi-major pivots we have on ES and NQ. So those would be the targets. But it looks like the market's just waiting for Trump to talk later. What it looks like, so we'll have to see what happens then. But I'm gonna hang out on my phone for like 5 more minutes. If anything crazy happens, I'll stay. Otherwise, I'm probably gonna hop out. I'll just take my green day and leave. I just wanted to see if we were gonna get NQ new low day or break the falling wedge first, and we broke the falling wedge first. So now I want to see if we actually do end up going full circle and coming back down and getting the NQ new low of day. Um, I don't know if it wants to do that though. So I'll just hang out and wait. And if that doesn't happen, then I won't have anything today for futures. Oh, it looks like it's going to get to that little pivot. We'll see what happens when it gets there, but it's a gorgeous falling wedge. Gorgeous falling wedge trade. But all right, y'all. Well, I'm pretty much out of time. We don't have a ton of events today. Kind of getting back into it slowly, but going to be working on some pretty big trade arena stuff today, and actually a lot of different things I'm going to be working on. But all right, well, that's it for me. I'm assuming that it's going to get to that pivot. If it pulls back, I'm bullish for inverse head and shoulders. Trump's talking in 1 hour, so we'll see what happens when that happens. Yeah, that's going to be interesting. But all right, sweet. Well, you guys have a blessed rest of your day. Good luck if you continue to trade. Nice trades this morning, and yeah, we'll see what Trump has to say. All right, I'll see you guys later.